Hey everybody, it's Adrian. I just wanted to show you an up close of a project that I'm working on. I've been talking about this in our sewing group for a little while, and I wanted to make a video of it up close so you can see. This dress is one that I'm doing an extension on the bodice, and you can see it's quite a large extension. Let's see here. This particular client has a bust that's just much taller than this dress. And no, this was not purchased incorrectly in the size or purchased size wrong or anything like that at all. This is just how her body needed coverage. This is 2.5 inches taller at the princess seam. And I wanted to show you guys how I built this and how it's installed while I still have it. So it's still in progress. And I fitted her at her initial, on her initial fitting time for these two pattern pieces that you see here. And then I cut out a liner, a shell piece, and a tulle, just like the same makeup of the dress so that it coordinates with everything. And then this section I have over here isn't completely sewn down yet. I'm going to take some of these pins out so you can see what I'm doing here. So essentially what I did is my blend is really layery. So this is how I like to blend on when I'm adding onto the front of a dress. So I actually have sewn the back portion, the lining assembly is sewn to the dress at the top edge. You can see that little stitch right there is where I've actually connected it, so it's very sturdy. And then the top layer, everything folds over, and I've graded them to different levels. So let me see if I can peel back a little bit further so you can see what I'm talking about. Okay, so there's the actual stitch line. So that's what's holding the extension to the dress. And then this is the liner, and you can see I have interfaced it, interfaced both sides for extra structure. And then I have my layer of tulle. So the layer of tulle is much longer, and these are kind of graded still. So this one's the shortest, medium, and long. And what that does is it gives me lots of room to lay everything over. And then I had peeled back, this was all the original applique that was already on her neckline. Peeled that all back when I was sewing the extension on. And now I can wrap this back over, and it blends that line beautifully away. So this side has a little more sewing on it. So you can see right here, you can see my overlap, and there's a little piece of boning showing. So this I still need to cover up, but you can see how nicely it blends away after you get applique on. So anywhere that has little bits of edge showing, I'll go back and throw a little flower on. She was having the train removed on her dress, so we have plenty of applique to use, which is lovely. And then at the very tip here at the front, you can actually see a piece of this shape here that I really wanted to highlight. Whenever I cut a piece that's going to be narrowed to 0, these are two separate units, and I butt them very close together, and I leave a lot, but I trim it off because when you're sewing, you want to have something to hold on to. If you cut it very narrow, you won't have anything to hold on to while you're working, and it becomes very annoying. So you can see that's just how it looks on the inside. So it's just nice and clean. Everything's understitched so that it looks pretty. Obviously, it looks like an add-on from the inside, but that's okay. You know, she knows what she's paying for. So it's nice to see that. Now, you can make this go however far back your bride wants it extended. She only wanted it to go to her side seam, and it looks really good on her this way, so I kept that. And then you'll want to just make sure that your transition looks nice. So any applique to blend over everything, I'm probably going to do a little bit more up here. The original dress has some applique peeking over the edges, so I'll kind of keep that same vibe. As you can see, I was maintaining that up here, so that way it just looks like her dress. Now, apex wise, I am going to take the cup out of the original dress. This does actually fit her shape. I'm going to hit the bottom just a little bit to move the apex just a shade up, but not go crazy with it because it really doesn't need too much. This dress came with these little cups that basically don't do much for her or the dress, really. They're just kind of decorative. I do like that they're covered in lace. That's super cute. But yeah, these really don't add much value to the dress as far as like coverage or lift or anything like that. There's a pretty decent amount of boning in here, and that's what's really doing the work. I actually continued the boning up, and I connected them. So when I attached the units, I stitched through everything to where everything's vertically connected. So it's like the boning just continues up from the dress. So you can see it's holding a really nice shape, even just as it's laying here on the table. I already had a fitting with her and it looks great. She was really excited, and it raised it up enough to where it looks good for her proportionally, but it's not like up in her armpits like she's trying to hide. So it's in a really nice spot that I love. And yeah, so basically all I need to do now is go and fill in and add snaps for her off the shoulder straps that we made, and this one will be ready to go. She gets married very soon, and she's been such a delight to work with, so I'm really excited. It's always really joyful to help somebody fit into their dress and look beautiful and just help them, you know, translate how they want to look for their wedding day. It's one of my favorite parts about this work, is just helping take one thing off of their stress plate because they know they look good, so they're going to feel good and be confident the rest of the day. So this is just a basic little show and tell. This is one of those, it's kind of harder to do a tutorial on because it's kind of it's a method, it's a concept. But basically what you're doing is building yourself a sandwich that's exactly the same as the dress in the shape that you need and attaching it in the best way you possibly can. You want to machine stitch at least one section of it to the dress so that way it's sturdy, and then blend away your top layers as best as you can, either by hand or by machine. But that top line, like I said, I like to kind of do by hand so it blends away. And in the photos on her, this side looks very blended already. So I've got a little bit of hand sewing left to do and to get this dress all squared up, but I just wanted to share that while I have it in my possession, because this is a really cool build up. I do build ups quite frequently for people. This is not an uncommon one to do. I just don't really, usually I'm under a time crunch, so I can't really make a video about it to show the entire process. And each one is very unique, very individual. I don't have a pattern for it because I make the pattern for each person because everybody sits differently and has different coverage preferences. I can post what the pattern piece shapes look like, but at the end of the day, I'm a big fan of draping, so I'll just lay some fabric on them until I get the coverage and the shape that they're wanting to do, and then I'll build it so they can see how it's going to look. So there we go. Let me know what questions you have in the comments. I would love to answer anything that you guys have questions about, or any other topics that you're interested in hearing from me. Thank you guys. Have a great night or great day wherever you are.